Hello, everyone. Welcome to May We Talk Show. This is May from Superstar TV 888. Now it's a Friday again. I'm glad to have my VIP guest here, Mr. Dimitri. He is the Prince of Yugoslavia.
Hello.
Hi, nice to see you. How are you
Nice to see you
today?
again. Good, good. It was nice meeting you in Los Angeles.
Yes, we had a wonderful event and I enjoyed the charity gala there. I've seen the fruitful outcome from that event and everybody is happy enjoying the time there and also helping support the hungry kids. I think that's a very meaningful event. Yeah.
Yes,
What
it
do
was
you
fantastic.
You've been doing the multiple occupations. You have a different identities. You've got the fantastic experience in your lives. So I would like you to
I know.
share that with us. The first thing I wanted to know is how do you balance your royal lineage with modern day responsibilities and expectations?
I don't.
Oh,
I
you
don't
don't?
balance them because my royal lineage is one thing, and
Mm.
my modern day obligations and duties are a different, something else. And I believe, in life we all have different facets. So one thing is what I am by lineage and royal history, and another one is what I have to face in my day-to-day activities. So my day-to-day activities, I do the best I can in my job, in my interactions with the people I meet every day. And
Hmm.
my royal lineage is just there in the background. I never think about it.
Mm. So does this two different identity conflict with each other or?
No, they don't. They're just parallel. We all have different facets. It's like a diamond. A
Yeah.
diamond has 58 facets. None of them conflict. They all sort of cooperate together to create the look of the diamond. And I think the same thing. You also have many facets. You have your intelligence, you have your emotions, you have your job, you have your family, you have what you've done in your past. It's all part of the human experience in this world, I think.
Yeah, that's a good comment. As a member of a former royal family, what lessons do you think that modern society can learn from the monarchy?
The monarchy was always about setting an example. I always say that royals are not celebrities, they are role models, and they're paid for that. So, what we can learn is all from the best behavior of the best members of the monarchies, which are based on Christian values, the values of kindness, of generosity, of tolerance, of good behavior, of being kind to one another, and set an example for how to behave in life every day.
Yeah, that's really important because people take you as an idol. Whatever you behave and you speak, are setting the example to the public. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
thank you. In the old days, one used to say that the king and the queen were the father and the mother image of the nation, because people looked up to them and people wanted to be proud of their king and queen.
right. Exactly.
Mm.
That's why it's important. You behave, you set a good example for people. So now,
Yeah.
what initiatives or courses are you currently passionate about, and how are you working to promote them?
Number one is the dynastic order of Savoys,
Hmm.
especially the order of St. Maurice and Lazarus, the new delegate for the United States. And it's about promoting Christian values and mostly to help orphans, very poor people, widows, I mean, people in need, people who are struggling, people who are trapped in adversity, who have fallen on hard times. And we scout around the world. We're in 34 countries. We are in many cities and regions of America. And we organize events to raise money to help those people. And I think you were there a few days ago with me in Los Angeles, and that was a fantastic example of this man who created this organization and who has served 10 million meals for free to help poor people who don't to have the regular meals every day like one should have. and I think it's a wonderful experience to go through, to be able to change the life of these people.
Yeah, it is really important because I know you've participating in a lot of nonprofit event and effort, and you also have a American Savoy Foundation in New York.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
conducting this task. I was actually in one of their event in 2022. I'm also working as a nonprofit organization principals, and we are more focusing on the art, humanitarian stuff. I do movies. I produce humanitarian movies every year. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I work for two other organizations. One in New York is called Casita Maria, and they work to help very poor children in the Bronx and Harlem, and they bring them to school, and they pay for their studies, and they reinsert them in society. And after their scolarity, they find a job to them, and it's fantastic because they've had 100% rate of success to do them. And it's also the oldest charity in New York. It's 76, I think, or 77 years old now. It's called Casita Maria, and it's absolutely wonderful. And the other one is the Versailles Giverny Foundation. It was founded by the wife of the curator of Versailles. It's a huge organization to help and promote the arts and restoration of different, artistical monuments, such as the Castle of Versailles, other buildings all over. And it's now run by the daughter of this lady called Barbara Portago, who recently, for instance, a year ago, was able to restore the ceiling of Palazzo Gangi, which is this famous palazzo in Sicily, where the movie The Leopard was made by Visconti. And she also identifies many different masterpieces that need restoration. And she does that. So she's a great, great promoter of the arts, basis of society. It's what makes us civilized.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the fantastic, organizations. I would definitely want to explore the co-op opportunities in the future. With your extensive experience in the artwork, so how do you see the intersection between art and the royalty?
Well, you know, art in the old days, from the Middle Ages until the 18th, even 19th century, was always possible because of royalty. Look at the role of the Medicis and all the royal families in Europe to promote and to protect the artists. Leonardo da Vinci was protected by King Francis I. You had all the great artists of the 18th, 16th and 17th century and 18th century were promoted by Louis XIV, Louis XV, Louis XVI, all of that. Traditionally, royals were always the patrons of the arts. I mean, the Emperor of Austria was the great patron, for instance, of Mozart. And I can give you a million examples like that. So yes, they were very instrumental in creating and promoting the art, and it's a wonderful thing they did because we all enjoy it still today.
Yes, actually myself is oil painter and I'm also a big fan of Leonardo da Vinci. I
Mm.
did some reproduction paintings of his famous painting Mona Lisa, the lady with Irma, and other paintings. Yeah, I have a personal online gallery at the superstarmuseum.com. I can send you the link so
Oh
you would.
yes, yes, please.
Art speaks a universal language and across the time and age,
Yes.
different cultures. I think that's the
Mhm.
amazing part of being an artist. How do you navigate the challenge of preserving tradition while embracing the progress in a rapidly changing world?
Progress is a natural thing, and progress means improvement of things. So a tradition, if it's a good tradition, it will improve naturally as it will adapt to to the present times. If it's obsolete, it will just die of its natural death. Tradition is mostly based on Christian values. I think Christian values are immortal. It's all about doing good. Progress is more about technology. Those work hand in hand. a country that's very people that's very evolved will be very able to handle the evolution and technology. It is a French philosopher called Rabelais during Renaissance times who said, "Science without consciousness is nothing but the ruin of your soul." And he was true. I mean, along with a certain degree of technological evolution, we have to evolve spiritually at the same time because it goes hand in hand. Otherwise, you create a dichotomy, and that's when problems start happening.
Yeah, that's right. I think the development and the innovation of the new technology has to be held in the right hands. You know, the person,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
master that needs to have the social responsibility.
Yes, I agree.
So, can you share any memorable moments or experience from your time as being a member of the royal family?
Well, I'm still a member of the royal family.
Yes,
Um,
I mean in the early years.
maybe we're meeting people of the past generation who
Yeah.
had lived before World War One and World War Two and things like that. I remember meeting the old Queen Victoria Eugenie of
Yeah.
Spain, was the granddaughter of Queen Victoria. And I remember there was this conversation at home. They were talking about the Russians and the Romanovs and the revolution, and it was in the middle of all this discussion about Anastasia. Did Anastasia survive? There was this woman called Anna Anderson who said she was, and then some people doubted. A lot of people didn't believe it was her. And the queen, who was her aunt, I mean, because the Empress of Russia and her were first cousins, said, I remember to my mother, I gave money to her because if it's really Anastasia, it would be too awful not to help her. And if it's not her, and if it's just an imposter, I'm just doing Christian charity and I'm helping a poor soul. It really spoke to me. She was saying, she didn't see her as a bad person. She saw her as a poor soul who needed help. And I will never forget that.
So I know that the fact is you have the same grandma with Prince Emmanuel Savoy. Is that
Yes,
true? Okay.
yes, Queen Marie José. Yes, my mother and his father are brothers and sisters.
So how do you give comment to your grandma? What is the impression you had with your grandma?
I absolutely adored my grandmother. First of all, she was so funny. Nobody made me laugh like her. She was so eccentric and she was so brave and she was scared of nothing. And I remember, and she was so cultured. She knew everything about music and she had seen, I mean, she had lived an amazing life. I love history, so I was always asking her questions. I remember coming to New York in the 70s with her for a charity organization who wanted her help. But after all that was done, I took her to the Studio 54 in New York, and she couldn't believe it. She said, "What is this place? I've never been. I didn't even know a place like that existed. What fun!" And there she was. She was the Queen of Italy. She was very open-minded, and I had amazing conversations about music, about art, about politics, about history, especially with her. And I miss her very much. I have to say, I really miss her.
Yeah, it's always a good memory being with the family members, you know.
Yes, and I'm the oldest of all the cousins, so I'm the one who knew her better.
Yes, I'm sure she gave a lot of influence for your life when you grew up.
Yes.
In your opinion, what are the most pressing issues facing Bargan region today, and how do you think they can be addressed?
I think it's the economy, for one thing, but it's also the problem of corruption. The problem with all these countries, and it's not only that, it's also Romania, Bulgaria, and all those countries, is the horrendous level of corruption, which is the direct result of 70 years of communism. I'll give you an example. My mother's cousin, King Simeon of Bulgaria, you see, for you to understand, my Italian grandfather, King Umberto, the husband of the grandmother we were just talking about, his sister was the Queen of Bulgaria. So King Simeon and my mother are first cousins. And I don't know if you remember, but many years ago, when he was allowed to go back, he ran to be prime minister, and he was elected. And he had a fantastic program. He was going to turn the country around and make it great again, and clean up and everything. And I remember we had lunch with him once in Rome after that, and he said that he was not going to run again. He just couldn't take it anymore. And he said, unfortunately, I was never able to accomplish anything. There was so much corruption that anything I did, it was never followed up by people underneath me, because I had my ministers, and every ministers had their orders, and then they gave it to the people who worked in the different ministries. And there you met with corruptions where people wouldn't obey, wouldn't do the things, took money, put money in their pockets. And he said, there was this culture of corruption, and you could not change it. That's the problem. Why certain countries still today, you can help them as much as you want. If you give them money, it just goes in the pocket of corrupt politicians. That is the main problem of humanity today, not only the Balkans, of humanity. I mean, there are certain countries where it happens much less than that. I mean, America much less, Switzerland, Europe in general. There is a certain degree of corruption, but not comparable with the Balkans and all these countries, you know?
Yeah, it is really a big issue that existing in most countries.
Yeah. And it goes back to the beginning of our conversation. Christian values, honesty, kindness, generosity, all of that, doing the right thing, being a role model. Everybody should want to be a role model in life. People should be proud at night and when they look at themselves in the mirror saying, I changed somebody's life today. And actually, it brings me to the comment I made the other night. It's the intelligent thing to do. There is a French poet who said, intelligence is the solitary effort to extract from the chaos of your own life the handful sufficient enough to enlighten further just around you the others who, just like you, are lost in darkness. It says it all. I mean, if everybody does one little gesture every day to help the other, even if it's just a smile when you go to the supermarket, you never know how you can change somebody's life. And especially if you have responsibilities. I'll tell you a story. During COVID, I had just published my book on jewelry, and I was sitting outside in the street. We couldn't eat inside in a restaurant with a friend of mine. There was a homeless man who was very in bad shape, who was walking, and he asked us for some money. He was asking money. So I was looking in my pocket. I couldn't find money. My friend with me just took a $20 bill and put it in my hand. And she said, just give it to him. And I gave it to him. And he looked at $20. It was a big sum for him. And he goes, oh, thank you so much. He was like this, you know. Half an hour later, he came back and he said, can I speak to you? I said, yes, of course. He said, I was going to buy some drugs. But you were so kind to me, and I was so shocked that somebody would actually give me so much money that I decided to go and buy some chewing gums. And I'm eating one now because I'm craving drugs. And every time I'm going to crave drugs, I'm going to eat a chewing gum and I'm going to think of you. And I want this to be the beginning of a new life. And both of us, we were in tears, you know, and we said, you know, of course you will do well, and you have to be you have to have faith, and we believe in you. And it was a beautiful moment. So you never know what you can do with an act of kindness.
Yeah, that's true. That's why we have to always treat with each other with kindness, and that's what my movie was trying to promote. I put some of the humanitarian thoughts in my movie. My new movie, Blooming Sister, is actually getting the best original features in the Hollywood On Type Film Awards.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. It's beautiful. And it reminds me, what did Jesus say? Love each other the way I loved you.
yeah,
And that's
exactly.
exactly what you're saying. It's those simple Christian values. 2,000 years later, we still speak about this man from Galilee. There's a reason for that. It's
Yes,
because of the strength of his message.
yes. Humanity is our mutual virtual.
It's also
Yeah.
the Buddhist mentality is like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as a renowned jewelry designer, what inspired you in your creations, and how do you blend the traditional craftsmanship with the contemporary design?
Everything inspires me.
Hmm.
I have a motto: for those who can listen, even the stones can speak. So it's true. And I look at everything, and everything inspires me. It was the philosophy of Mr. Cartier, the founder. And he said to his designers, never to look at other people's jewelry, but look at the decorative arts and travel. So there's a fantastic book that's been published in the 19th century called The Grammar of Ornament. And it's a book, a visual dictionary of all the different styles of the decorative arts of every country in the world at every time in history. And it's absolutely fantastic. And it gives you details on how to do things. And then also, I don't do only gold, platinum, and silver. I do other things. I do wood. I do Damascus steel, which was the famous steel with which they did the swords for the Crusaders. So that in turn inspired me to do a medieval-looking collection. And of course, in that collection, I had to put some crosses. So I did some research on medieval crosses in different coat of arms of different antique royal and noble families, and on like that. And so it's just never ending. It's a dialogue with myself, if you want.
It's a good culture and the heritage, for you to put
Yes.
that in your design, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I say it in the preface of my book, Travel Back in Time. I explore the decorative arts of China, of Japan, of Russia. I love African designs also. I've done a whole series of things based on Maasai jewelry, on the mystical symbols of the Ashanti tribes of West Africa, which are so mysterious because it's a mixture of African tradition mixed with the apparition of Christianity, and how it influenced them, and it made them evolve in their way of thinking. So there's always something. So, and I mix it with modern technology. The great thing today that we have, for instance, apart from the actual technologies that we have to make jewelry, we also have something called CAD, which means computer assisted design. So I do my renderings with colors and stuff and all that. Then my assistant, production manager, puts it into her computer, and the computer will put it in 3D and will tell us exactly the thickness of the gold we can use. For instance, if I want something to be very, very, very light, I say, what's the thinnest I can do the mounting? And she will say 0.78 millimeters is the thing in it. So she says, I recommend 0.8 because at the polishing you could lose 0.02 millimeters of gold, etc. So it really allows you to push the boundaries of your designs when you do that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the benefit of the modern tools with AI or with the 3D, like modern softwares
Yeah,
can do for people. Yeah, for human.
yeah, it's very interesting. It's great
Yeah.
fun to work like that. Yes.
Yeah, I also get a lot of benefit from using the AI tools when editing my movies.
How wonderful.
Yes. So, what advice would you give to the young people, inspiring them to make a positive impact in their communities, regardless of their background or status?
A summary of what we were saying about Christian values. I would also encourage them to have a spiritual life. And in moments of despair, which one does when one is very young, because it's difficult to be young and to be a child and an adolescent. You discover the world is unknown, everything is there for the first time. You don't have the experience, and you can very quickly become depressed. Put it all in the hands of God. Let God take care of you. And if you don't believe in God, point your finger in the sky and tell God, prove to me I exist. Give me a sign. And then you open your antennas. Because because for those who can listen, even stones speak. So you have to sort of open yourself and look around you. You will see signs in the street. all the time. I see signs everywhere. All of a sudden, if you open your heart and if you don't believe in God, you can say the universe, the supreme intelligence that created the universe, whatever you like, whatever resonates to you best, put it in his or her hand. Although there's no genders over there, it's just one, one intelligence who then creates the genders with which we manifest each other, ourselves in the world for purposes of creation. You need male and female to reproduce for reproduction. But do that, and you'll see life will be much easier, much more easy, and you'll have much less stress on your shoulders. Read a lot of books, read everything on every subject.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's truly important for the young people to know what their goal is and stick to their dreams. They always have passions and positive thought and mindset in their life that also help them to be more successful. So I think.
Yeah. But open your mind. The more you learn, the more things you discover, the more you'll get ideas, the more it will help you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your advice. I think a lot of people will benefit from the conversation that we had. Okay, well, thank you for joining us in the interview. If you have any comments or suggestions, you're welcome to leave your comment to our video, and welcome to join us again in the next Friday. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.